Okay, here is a Khan Academy I've assigned called Solve Equations by Completing the Square. So it looks just a little bit different than what you were used to. So part of it is asking you to rewrite the equation. So I wanted to do this one to give you an example. So I'm going to just rewrite the 24 to the other side of the equation like that. So this is how I'm going to do it, just because you guys are so used to having the equal sign on the right. So we have x squared plus 4, minus 4x plus 3 equals 24. So the first thing we have to do is get this c term over. And remember to look through your notes at the steps. Pause this video throughout if I ever go too fast. So we have x squared minus 4x, and then we're going to leave this spot blank, equals 21. So now we're going to complete the square. So that means that we're adding b over 2 squared to both sides. Our b is negative 4. So we're going to divide that by 2 and square it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I forgot, I kind of like doing that off to the side. So negative 4 over 2 squared is negative 2 squared, which is positive 4. So really we're just adding a positive 4 to both sides here. Okay, so now we have x squared minus 4x plus 4 equals 25. That's nice, that's a perfect square. Okay, so now we have to rewrite this in perfect square form like that. So in order to do this, it's always going to be x plus your b over 2 squared. Well, we know our b is negative 4 in this problem. Negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. So this one is going to be x minus 2 squared equals 25. I just bring that down. So now this is in the form that they want you to type into that box. So using their tools, you can do the squared. You want to make sure it is actually in the exponent. You have to write it exactly like this with no spaces, okay? No spaces. So now it's asking us to solve the equation, and then you have these options here, okay? So once you get here, you're like, okay, well, that's what goes there. Perfect, okay? So now we're going to take the square root of both sides. It's always plus or minus. The squared gets canceled out. We are left with x minus 2 equals plus or minus. The square root of 25 is 5. So you guys see here how they had these as trick answers. That is not correct. I've had a lot of students do that, but once you take the square root of something, it is that answer. Okay, this is plus or minus 5. The square root of 25 is 5. So it's going to be either A or B. It's definitely not going to be C or D. So now we have to add the 2 to both sides. And I always put it in front of the plus or minus. You notice that the problem did it as well here in Khan Academy. It's just a safer way to not forget your actual plus or minus. So here we have 2 plus or minus 5. It's a positive 2. So our answer is A. Okay, so I hope this helped you out. I'll do one more. Let me do one more here for you. So if I type this into the chat, or into this here, I have parentheses. Where are my variables at? Here? No. What is it? Oh, there it is. So the x is down there next to the 0 in case you're blind like me, okay? So it's going to be x minus 2 squared, and then equals 25. So that's what goes there, and then A was our answer. Let's check it. Yep, we got it. Okay, so let's do another one. All right, same thing. Here, I'm going to write it out. X squared, so I'm going to do black. X squared plus 16x minus 2 equals 11. Okay, I'm going to draw my line. So let's go ahead and complete the square. First step we do is add the 2 to both sides. We are left with x squared plus 16x, and then this blank, equals 13. So now we need to add b over 2 squared to both sides. So b over 2 squared. Our b is 16. So 16 over 2 squared is 8 squared, which is 64. So in order to complete the square, we need to add 64 to each side. Okay. So now if we rewrite this, we have x squared plus 16x plus 64 equals, this is 77. All right. So now we have to write this part on the left in complete square form, or perfect square form, like this. So the way we do this is we always do x plus b over 2 squared. Our b, once again, is still 16. 16 over 2 is 8. So this is going to be x plus 8 squared equals 77. And now this right here is what you write in this box over here. Okay? So that is what goes there. That is your complete square form. So now we have to solve it. Okay? So now to solve this, we take the square root of both sides. Here, actually, I'm going to rewrite it so that if you're looking at this, you don't type the square root in there. Okay, so let's take the square root of both sides. Cancels out the squared. We have x plus 8 equals, this is plus or minus root 77. Now, root 77 does not have any perfect square factors. So 1 times 77, 7 times 11, that's it. So it's going to stay as root 77. So now all we can do is subtract the 8 from both sides. And again, I always put it right there in front. So now we have x equals negative 8 plus or minus root 77. That'll be C. Okay, so this is how you tackle these problems. Again, please pause the video to get all of this written down. I'm going to go ahead and type it in so I have, just to check my answers, make sure I did it right. X plus 8 squared equals 77. And then we had gotten that our answer is C. That. Yep. Looks like I have time for one more. So let's go ahead. I have a meeting at 1:45, but I have time for one more. Okay. Oh, good. I'm glad I did this one. So look at here. We have this equation. I'm just going to flip them. So I'm going to do 13. Oh, actually, no. I'll show you why. So let's leave this because we want that x to become a positive. I do not like that we have a negative x squared. We cannot have that to complete the square. So we have to add x squared to both sides. Okay, so now we have x squared plus 12x equals 13. And honestly, guys, we can leave it like that because we needed the c term away anyways. So now this is in the form like this equals whatever that c term. The c term must have been a negative 13, and then you add 13 to get it over to the right. So this is always the form that you have to rewrite whatever equation is given to you in. All right? So you have to rewrite it to where you have the ax squared plus bx blank equals whatever the opposite of the c term would have been. So now we can go through our motions. So we're going to go ahead and add 12 or b over 2 squared to both sides. The 12 is our b. So this would be 6 squared. It's 36. So we're going to add 36 to both sides. So now we have x squared plus 12x plus 36 equals 49. 13 plus 36 is 49. So now we have to rewrite it as the perfect square form, x plus b over 2 squared. Again, our b is 12. So we have x plus 12 over 2 squared, which is x plus 6 squared equals 49. This is what we would type in this box here. Okay? So I'm just going to rewrite that. So we have x plus 6 squared equals 49. So let's take the square root of both sides to get rid of that squared. Square cancels out. We have x plus 6 equals plus or minus root 49. The square root of 49 is 7. Okay, so now we have to get the x by itself, so let's go ahead and subtract 6 from both sides. Negative 6 can go right there. So we have x equals negative 6 plus or minus 7. Now normally we would split this and actually solve. You would get 1 and you would get negative 13, but Khan Academy just wants to know what the answers are. So again, these two are tricks because it's not root 7. We already took the square root of 49 and that equals 7, just 7. And the x is a negative, or I'm sorry, the 6 is a negative, so it must be C. All right? So again, please pause the video, get all this written down. I'm going to check my answer right now. So I got x plus 6 squared equals 49, and then our answer was C. Yep, we're good to go. Okay, I have to get ready for my meeting, so I hope that this helped you out with this Khan Academy assignment. Feel free to email me if you have any more questions.